I have no idea who I'm supposed to be out there.
You're not just doing this for you. You're doing it for the family.
Paige, I myself have come from a wrestling family too. I know exactly what it means to you. But don't worry about being the next me. Be the first you.
Fighting with My Family is a biopic about the former WWE superstar wrestler known as Paige. I don't know anything about Paige. I am a WWE Universe member. I have been watching the WWE since I was a wee young lad back in the 90s era when we had Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker, all these people, Big Boss Man. I was a fan when these people were wrestling. And when Paige first entered the scene, I didn't know who she was. I haven't seen a lot of her matches, and so I don't know how close to the vest this narrative is. But what we get from this, we get a story being told about a family of wrestlers who want to make it in the big time. We have Paige, who is played by Florence Pugh, and we have the mother, Julia Knight, played by Lena Headey, and we have the father, Ricky Knight, played by Nick Frost, and the brother, Zach Knight, played by Jack Lowden. And Jack Lowden and Florence Pugh in this movie were very good here. I enjoyed their performances. It did feel like they were related. I thought that the Zach character had a lot of depth to his character. It was very interesting when we saw him interacting with other wrestlers. There's this one kid who has a disability, and there's this other kid who is on the wrong side of the law, and Zach is a guy who helps these kids up out of, their normal life situations, and he gives them this fantasy that ultimately makes them happy, and it, gets them out of whatever situations that they're in. So I thought that part of the story was very well told, even though I do feel they should have given us more narrative with Zach's character. I feel like the movie kind of, goes a little too quickly over his narrative, but it was there, and what I got from it, I enjoyed. I thought that the character that Florence played here, Paige, it was very interesting as well, because we meet her and she goes to the training facility where we meet Hutch, played by Vince Vaughn. And I thought Vince Vaughn in this movie was great. He was great as the trainer who wants Paige to be more than what she is. He wants her to be great, but at the same time, he realizes that if she can't handle the pressure, she should just quit. And I liked her narrative in here because it starts off like, she's a rebel, she's being herself, and she's meeting all of these other females who want to be WWE superstars. And her character in this movie is going through an inner struggle, right? Because she's seen all these other women here, and there's a point in the movie where she's looking at herself in the mirror. And as soon as she looked at herself in the mirror, that's when it clicked in my mind, like, yeah, she's doubting herself. The mirror sometimes can be your worst enemy. And there's a moment in the movie where she changes herself, and it made me cry, because the thing that hurts me about this world that we live in so much is that there are certain elements out here that try to hold us to a certain standard where you have to look this way, you have to dress this way, you have to behave this way, you have to speak this way. And it's like, who makes up these rules, right? They're just the norm. You have to be this way in order to fit in and all of that. And when she changed herself, it made me cry because it hurt me. so much that no, I was like, don't change yourself, just be who you are, be real, don't try to be fake and be like everybody else, just be yourself, whether people like who you are or not. If they don't like you, then screw them, you know what I'm saying? So I like the part in here where she's dealing with her inner struggle and she's trying to find herself, create herself, whatever. So I thought that was cool. The parents in this movie, Julia Knight, played by Lena Headey, and Ricky Knight, played by Nick Frost. I thought these two actors in here were phenomenal. The movie did deliver some backstory with them about how, you know, they were in a life of crime and they're trying to go legit with this wrestling thing and they want their kids to make it so the family can make it. So I thought that was interesting. Same thing about Zach, the family, you know, the parents here, they didn't really get too much of a story. I mean, they got just enough to where I understood what was going on, but I wish there was a bit more with them. But this is Paige's biopic, so Paige gets more of the spotlight here, which is understandable.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Ha! The Rock's laying the smackdown.
And then we also have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in here. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, The Rock is one of my favorite wrestlers. I wish he would come back and take on AJ Styles at WrestleMania. I want to see that. But anyways, getting off topic here. Dwayne Johnson's in this movie. He executive produced this and he's playing himself. He has one of those inspirational moments where he's talking to Paige and Zach and, you know, just uplifting them. I thought that scene was pretty funny. Good to see The Rock back cutting good promos. But he's not much of a character in here. I would say it's just a glorified cameo. There are lots of interesting stories going on in this movie. We have Paige, we have Zach, we have Julia Knight, Ricky Knight, and we have Hutch in here. And they all have interesting stories. I like all of their stories in here. They constantly have to go through these either inner struggles or exterior struggles or worldly struggles, things that affect them, that keep them from reaching their ultimate goals of just, you know, living their lives the way they want. And so I thought that narrative in the story was very well told. Like, this movie legitimately made me cry. It made me cry 3 different times. And that, my verdict for this movie is that it's great. This is a great movie. This was great. I did not expect this, you know. This is a great movie. It made me cry 3 different times, which is a plus in my book. I love the progression of the characters in here. I love the story being told. I would say that towards the end, it kind of felt a little sloppy because I felt like things were just handed to Paige by the end, and I just thought that was kind of odd because I didn't really see her go through any sort of like matches in the WWE. We just see her training a little bit and dealing with her inner struggle and dealing with her brother and dealing with her family. But then I understand it. It's a movie. You got to keep things going. And, you know, you got to take certain liberties with the story here and there just to make the story flow better. So I understand that, but I feel like they could have just trimmed a couple things in this movie to make it more tight. Fighting with My Family, highly recommend it. Not only if you're a WWE fan, but if you just love a good tearjerker and biopics, you know, that play the story pretty straightforward, but then it kind of throws some curveballs at you that you didn't see coming. And that's all I have to say. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.
Maybe you don't know where you are right now. Let me remind you that this is the house that AJ Styles. It doesn't matter what you think.